All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say Call Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Waha Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay, back with another in transit video. I'm going to go ahead and start through the Spirit in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "For we are laborers together with the Most High. Ye are the Most High's husbandry. Ye are the Most High's building." Okay, so when you come into the truth and you toil and you begin to reap, and you begin to sow, that means that we labor together, right? It says you're laborers. We are laborers together, right? Like it says in Matthew chapter 9, verse 37. It says, "Then saith he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few." It says in verse 38, "Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he might send, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest," right? Because the harvest of the elect, okay, and those who are going to receive mercy is coming soon, okay? Right now, we are laboring to enter into the rest of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, okay? But going back to the scripture in 1 Corinthians verse 3 and 9, it says, "For we are laborers together." Okay, okay? And we each have a different, aspect or perspective that we bring into the truth in order to make this work. A mighty work. Just like how you're building a building, not everybody is going to lay the foundations. All right, you're going to have some people that do the windows. All right, some that do the walls, some that do the interior of the house, the plumbing, the electricity. Right. Well, same thing with the spiritual temple. There's different offices in the body. Okay. So we are the laborers. We are laborers together with the Most High. And then it says, "Ye are the Most High's husbandry," right? Like it says in Isaiah the 5th chapter. Matter of fact, let's get that. Isaiah chapter 5. Isaiah chapter 5. All right. Let's see. Isaiah chapter 5 and 1. It says, "Now I will sing to my beloved, to my well-beloved, a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill, and he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein. And he looked upon it, and he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem, and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes." And we were going into this last night at camp. Through the Spirit, man, Israel was being taken care of, nurtured, was in the desert, in the elements, susceptible to anything. Okay, outside of that protection of Egypt, and under the protection of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, which required faith. All right, but the Most High brought us into the Promised Land, right? And then we received that inheritance, or we received the land inheritance, okay? And then what did our people do? We became estranged to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and we were being rebellious as a nation the whole time we were in the wilderness, all right? 40 years in the wilderness, no electricity, no plumbing, okay? Because of our obedience. It wasn't because of, because the Most High wasn't able to give us those things. It was because of our disobedience as a nation. All right? And so it says verse 5, and go to now, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And that's exactly what happened to us over and over again through these other nations that the Most High set up to throw Israel down. And that's what's going on right now. We've been eaten up, and we've been broken down. Okay, our walls have been infiltrated. Okay, as a nation, because we were once a great nation. It's kind of hard to believe because if you don't know history, if you just look at the state of our people, it would be almost like there's no way these people could have been ever, even had any type of civilization. But to the contrary, we were once the greatest nation on the planet. All right. But if you go down to verse 7, the point is, for the vineyard of Yahweh of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression; for righteousness, but behold, a cry. You see, and that's the point, in that scripture that I wanted to bring out. Israel is well, let me read it again. Israel is the Lord's vineyard, man. Okay, the vineyard of Yahweh is the house of Israel. Okay, so going back here to 1 Corinthians. The app done crashed on me. And Satan gets mad. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 10. All right. It says, according to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me as a wise master builder. Let's look up that word, master builder. Okay. This is Paul writing here. So it's a man who was given an immense portion of the Spirit. All right. As a wise master builder. Strong's G73. I'm sorry, 753. All right. And it says a master builder, an architect, the superintendent in the erection of buildings. So can everybody be a superintendent? All right. Can everybody be the architect of the building? Okay. If there was no architect, there would be no order, and no way to see to oversee what's being done. Okay, but without the workers, and if you just have an architect, that that won't be sufficient. When Solomon built the Lord's temple, it took a plethora, a bunch of men. It took a lot of men to build that house. Okay, but guess what? Who received the instructions to build it? Solomon. You see, talking about the actual temple. You see, and so he was the master builder of that house, even though he didn't lay a finger to presumably the scriptures don't give an account of where he actually helped build the house. Okay. Because he had to rule, but as far as who received the instruction in order to build that house, Solomon received that instruction. Okay, so Paul at this time was a master builder of the house of Israel, right? Just like our apostles and elders, they're the superintendents. They oversee the erection of this spiritual temple that's being built, right? It says a chief constructor, right? A chief constructor. So going back here. All right. So it says, according to the grace of the Most High, which is given me. See, because it's not of yourselves. Ephesians 2:8. All right. Through grace are we saved through faith, and not of our works, or not of ourselves. Is the grace is a gift of the Most High. So it's a gift that the Most High gave Paul in order to be in that position. Okay, it says, I have laid the foundation, right? So he gave the blueprint. He gave us well, we still use this as a reference today. Okay, he gave us the foundation. All right, matter of fact, let's get that word foundation. We're looking up words. Okay. Let's see. I have laid the foundation All right, that's Strong's G 2310. Strong's G 2310. All right. It says laid down as a foundation, the foundation of a wall, of a building, or a city. Metaphorically, the foundations, the beginnings, or the first principles. Okay, so Paul, being the chief architect, laid down the first principles of the house of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Also, it says the first principles of an institution or system of truth. Man, right? A substruction. Okay. Well, it says something put down. For example, a substruction. So, all right. So you got a structure, and then you got the substructure. You know, you got the foundation, right? But metaphorically or spiritually, the foundations or the beginning and first principles of this truth. You know, where that understanding was given to Paul, right? You know, that's how we have a majority of the New Testament is through the Spirit. The Lord put the Spirit on this man to write these things down. Okay, and He also kept them preserved through time. All right, so let's go back here. Continuing in verse 10, it says, "I have laid the foundation." Okay, and another buildeth thereon. You see, so you have to find out who you are in the truth. What is your task? What has been delegated unto you for you to add to the body, right? That's one thing that the brother Mike Olive said from camp last night that stuck out with me. It says, he said, who are you in this truth? Okay, because every brother has his certain he has this special gift. All right, he has that special aspect to the truth that no other man can duplicate, because it was given to him by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right, and to look on one person's gift as less than yours, or one person's gift as greater than yours, you know, you can't let it hinder you from being productive, man. Okay, and self-motivated. You know, in order to continue to the end. Okay, so it says, "I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon." Okay, but let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. Okay, so the specific task has been given to you. Make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do according to the scriptures. All right, make sure that what's been given to you is done to the best of your ability, because you can't build the whole house by yourself, but you can do the best that you can at that task that has been given you, right? Let's see here. Because you have certain people who receive the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, okay, and their doctrines and their teachings go off, right? That they didn't take heed how they built upon the foundation, right? And at the end of the day, the works are going to be manifest, right? Matter of fact, that's what I was reading that earlier. Let's see, I think that's in Sirach chapter 17. Yeah, let me go back here, see if I can find it. Yeah, every man is going to be rewarded according to their works, right? So this is Sirach chapter 17, verse 7. Okay, it says, you know what? I'm gonna start at 6. All right. It says, "Counsel and a tongue and eyes and a heart gave he them to understand." Right. So that's the reason why Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai gave us our senses, was so that we can understand what we're supposed to do. Okay, understand our purpose, our task that he's created us for. Okay, not to enjoy the lust of the flesh. Okay, and only that, and live in carnality, but to be spiritual. That's why the Most High got so angry with our people. In Isaiah chapter 6 and 9, it says they have eyes, but they hear not. But they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Right? And so, therefore, the purpose of you having your sight and the purpose of you having your ears ultimately is vain. Okay? Because you still don't understand the intentions of Yahweh Shem Shai. If you don't understand these, if you don't understand what the Lord is saying, right? And so it says, I'm gonna read it again: counsel, and a tongue, and eyes, and ears, and a heart gave he them to understand. Withal he filled them with the knowledge of understanding. Okay, it says, and show them good and evil, right? Which shows you that Most High took understanding away from a majority of our people, because, as a whole, even though we were going off, we still had a more understanding of who He is, okay, of who Yahweh is, than now. Now our interpretation, a majority of people's interpretation of who God is a so-called white man, or the image of a so-called white man. Or people say he's Arabic, or he's this, or he's that, but they don't have that true understanding of what the Lord's will is, right? So it says, let me see, where's the point I was looking for? Let's see here. Okay, yeah, really, that was the point in verse 6. Oh no, I'm sorry, one more verse. It says in verse 8, he set his eye upon their hearts, that he might show them the greatness of his works, right? And so that's what the Most High examines our minds for, and continues to make sure that we're on point. Okay, this is only towards really the Israelites, because the other nations, they're really accounted for as spittle, man. All of these other nations, man, that you see, these Edomites, your boss, if he's not Israelite that's in the spirit, man, or that's part of the 1/3 is gonna have that the Lord's gonna have mercy on, he doesn't care, man. The Lord hates Edomites, man, right? So, but the point was in verse 8, it says he set his eye upon their hearts, that he might show them the greatness of his works, right? And so we're supposed to work the works of Yahweh Shem Shai. Matter of fact, let me get that, and close out on that. Okay, it's John chapter 9, verse start at verse 3. I'll start at verse 4. It says, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work, right? Because it says that we are laborers together. Okay, so we're supposed to labor together and work the works of him that sent us, which is Yahweh. Okay, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. It says, while it is day, the night cometh when no man can work. Okay, as long as I am the world, I am the light of the world. But that's the point in verse 4. It says, the night cometh when no man can work. So according to your ability, okay, matter of fact, Apostle Aramla brought this out in a sit down. I thought it was beautiful scripture. Let me see. Okay. go back and see if I can. All right, so this is Matthew chapter 25 and 15. Okay, it says, unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1. Okay, so who are you in this truth? What is your position? What is your position, or your employment in this truth? You have to answer that. You have to know what it is that you're in this thing for, that you're fighting for, you know, and what you're willing to give up. Which, if it's not everything, then you know you're running in the wrong race, you know. So it says, unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. And then he got those words, several ability, all right, several idios, pertaining to oneself or one's own. Okay, so your own, and then ability, right? So pertaining to yourself or your own ability. Okay, Strong's G 1411. To your own, it says strength, power, ability. Okay, so pertaining to your own strength, your own power, your inherent power residing in a thing by virtue of its nature. Okay, so brothers got different natures, right? Or which a person or thing exerts and puts forth, right? Power for performing miracles, moral power, and excellence of soul, the power of influence which belong to riches and wealth, right? So, this is what the Most High has given us in different aspects. Okay, we all have our own individual power for performing miracles, or our own individual moral power, right? A power residing within us because of the virtue of our nature, right? So, hey, Abaratazah. This lesson was edifying. With that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.